This is the Scania Touring HD. I am driving the Scania Touring HD. I saw this coach for the first time in 2011, but today is 2025 and the bus is brand new. It has some new LED lights, it has some new details, but I can promise you, it has been a lot of changes. The new driveline, the new suspension, the new transmission, and of course, the new dashboard. Let me adjust the steering wheel before I start driving. I have a button on my left side, and you see there is quite a lot I can do here on the steering wheel. I can take it up and down, but I feel it's a little bit resistant when I push it up and down. And when I find my perfect position, it's time to fasten the seatbelt. And then I'm ready to drive on Norwegian roads. I'm now driving a Scania Touring with a 13-liter engine, 500 horsepower and a 12-step OptiCruise transmission from Scania. And on board it's only 50 seats. The door is placed all the way in the back of the bus, and this vehicle has a toilet all the way in the rear. This maximizes the luggage capacity and gives the passenger a great comfort on board. This brand new Scania Touring HD has the new display, and look at all the information we have. We have digital speedometer, we have digital trip counter, we have all the information about the bus, we have the weight, we have the fuel consumption, we have the digital display on AdBlue and diesel. We can also see the tachograph information, how long we have been driving, when we have to take the brake, and you also have the information about the cruise control. Everything you need to see is in this display. I think maybe this is the best display at the bus and coach market at the moment. I'm driving a brand new 2025 model from Scania with analog mirrors. Both sides has two standing mirrors, and underneath they have two wide angle mirrors, so I see what happens in my blind spots. Also, on top of the standing mirror there is another wide angle mirror that shows me what happens in front of the vehicle, so I don't hit any rocks when I'm trying to park in a narrow area. On board this vehicle I have electronic handbrake, and this handbrake is activated by pulling the lever. But when I now put the throttle to drive, nothing happens. I want the electronic handbrake to go off electronically, just like other brands. I now have to push it to activate it, and then I can roll out. In the Scania Touring HD, I'm very happy with my view in front of the vehicle. But when I look to my sides, it's not the greatest view. Here to my left I have a too big pole that blocks my blind spots to the left. And when I look to the right, the door is just a big, massive plastic block. Two small windows. The one on the bottom I have no use for because it's too low, I don't see anything. And the black panels with plastic is just too much in the way. I wish the Chinese factory could make a better door solution for Scania. Take away the big infrastructure to open the door. It looks like a construction site. I am falling in love with the new dashboard of Scania. When I drive, there is a green indication on my speedometer that defines that I'm driving on the right side of the speed limit. But if I drive a little bit faster and I extend the speed limit, then the speedometer turns red and shows me that I'm now driving too fast for the speed limit. Even though the design on the Scania Touring is old from the outside, it's brand new on the inside. Around the vehicle there is a lot of cameras that gives me a 360 bird view inside the dashboard. I have one screen that is divided in two, one 360-degree camera and one flying above me camera, almost like filming the bus from a drone. So when I blink to the right, I will see everything that happens on the right side of the bus, and if I blink to the left, it shows me a good view on the left side of the bus. But why is this camera in such a bad quality? It looks like an old Nintendo game from 1994. Scania has the crystal clear backing camera in their own display, but why is this system with a 360-degree bird view in so bad quality? The driver comfort in this Scania Touring is exceptional. The steering wheel feels so premium, the pedals are so responsive, and the 500 horsepower engine on 13 liter with the 12-step transmission from Opticruise, it's a gift package. And also the passengers are comfortably seated on board. It's only 50 seats on board this 13.3 meter long coach. And underneath is a big luggage compartment because there is no middle door on this coach. It's only a back door. This gives great luggage capacity and also a bigger toilet all the way in the back of the vehicle. And the sound levels on board, they are so low. My biggest issue with the Scania Touring is the windows for the passenger. When you are seated as a passenger trying to look out the windows, you will find quite quickly that the windows are not perfectly clear. You get dizzy and you feel motion sick. And this has been since the first Touring that ever came out. So there is something with the Chinese window production that makes me feel sick while sitting as a passenger. When I look out the window, it feels like looking out through a kaleidoscope. I really hope that Scania can fix this problem for future production of Scania Touring. This coach is equipped with a side guard assist. So if the vehicle will detect any obstacle in your blind spots, you will get a warning by a yellow light on the A-poles. And if that is not enough, you will also get a shake in your seat on the left or right side, so you know what side your obstacle will be on. The coach is also watching you, so if the coach feels like you are getting tired while driving, you will get an information in the display that says that you are tired, please take a break. There is some clear signs that the Scania Touring is built in China. For example, the keys. In this vehicle right now, the ignition key is of course on because I'm driving. And on that key there is also a remote control where you can activate outside lights to do a light control around the vehicle, but you cannot lock and unlock the bus. You still have to use the lock key. And if you think that was it, this is the rest of the keys for the bus. You have to use a key for absolutely everything. If you want to open the fridge, you have to use a key. If you want to open up the toilet, you have to use a key. If you want to open up some of the hatches inside, you have to use a key. And of course, it's not the same key, it's one of these. And you have to familiarize yourself with the keys to the right lock. It's a project. And also it's keys for the flaps outside, it's a square key and it's a different key. So it's a lot to know when you operate this vehicle. It's also a second TV screen here in the middle of the vehicle, and that's mounted very badly because it blocks absolutely the whole view for all the people sitting behind that screen in that side of the bus. And also for the person that's sitting on that seat will get the screen in their back of their head. And if there is a bumpy road, which we have in Norway, you might get hurt. So it's a very bad solution. By the table, they turned one seat row in the other direction so you can have a little conference group there, but the seat is blocking the power outlet. So if you're sitting there working with your computer, you cannot charge it. And the table is a camping table because the factory in China didn't have any better solution. Every night when you park the coach for the night, you need to not only take the ignition off, you also have to turn off the main switch. It's so much battery powered things here that is still running even when the vehicle is off. So there is still potential for the Chinese factory to make an even better and more practical vehicle. For example, with the keys, so you don't have to have 12 different keys to all different closets, flaps, hatches, toilets, fridges. It just seems to be too much hassle. To activate the cruise control, I just used the panel down on the steering wheel to the left. I push the wheel up to plus, and then I will get a green number in the display telling me the speed I'm setting the cruise control to. To increase the speed, I can continue going up to plus or going down to minus if I want to decrease the speed. One light touch gives me 1.1 km/h, and one bigger touch gives me 5.5 km/h. If I don't want the vehicle to roll too fast and down hills, I can activate the other panel, which also indicates with a plus or minus. By activating that function, I limit the speed for how fast it can roll in down hills. And in the middle, I have the controller for the adaptive system that gives me the possibility to say how much distance I want for the vehicle in front of me. I'm now seated in one of the passenger seats, and I'm seated very comfortably. I can recline the seat quite a lot. Look at this. Each seat is equipped with power outlets and also USB A and C. By the windows, it's also curtains and emergency hammers. And the panel in the roof reminds me of the early 2000 Irisar vehicles. Behind me, we have the rear toilet and also the back door. While seated in the back of the bus, I can hear much more of the engine sound. But that doesn't do me any harm, because now Scania eliminated the harsh sound that was in the Touring before. On the previous models, you can hear the axles, you can hear the transmission. It was almost a banging sound while driving the Scania coaches. But that is completely eliminated. Now you only hear the pure 13-liter engine working below you. We have arrived to Bergen in a beautiful, beautiful weather. I really hope that you liked the video here today. And if you like what you see, click down here. The button is called subscribe, and then you will see all the future videos from us in Bussmagasinet. Until next time, drive safely. Have a great day.